left West Virginia in the fall of '64. Just the intro of that song. Here we are back for segment number 13.
Yes.
Yeah, 13.
You have it this time.
I do. I have it right this time. That song, became the title of my album on Epic, CBS Epic, and I mentioned it in the last segment. Nothing really happened with it. It was, I think, a record out of water. So, but it caused the president.
An interesting cover.
It is.
It's a very interesting cover.
Well, he thought
they did some. You probably can't see it. I think you sat down in a chair with like a sheet covering you.
Yeah.
And they did a picture, and then they took like various like jumping pictures.
Well, what the guy thought
it was the 70s,
when he was meeting me, he thought I'm going to be, shooting a blind guy, and I guess he thought I was going to be some helpless dude. And when he met me, he thought I was like some kind of Superman. So in his mind, he had a great idea. I just don't have conveys to you, but he put a sheet over top of me, resembling for him blind, and then he had me do the jumping stuff, and he got that shot in there. So that was me, Superman, jumping out of the darkness. A great idea if you could have written it on the book, on the album cover. This is what this means. But anyway, long story short, that album, nothing happened. I sang at a convention in Nashville for CBS, and Bruce Lumbaugh, who was the head honcho of all CBS, flipped out over me, wanted me to do another record. Well, we had not Miles Davis. You know what I mean? Quincy, yeah. Quincy Jones was going to produce me, wanted to, but he wasn't available for 18 months. So they decided to pass, and they looked around, and then they somehow through someone, Ron Bledsoe knew him. They got Mike Post. And Mike turned out to be extremely famous for all his TV shows, music to the TV shows. And so Mike produced me. They wanted a James Taylor type album, of course, Turley, another flavor. And we did it, and it was a really good album. I mean, it really was a very good album. For me, I thought it was a little boring because it was, too much like James Taylor, and, nobody's James Taylor but James Taylor. And I did use his drummer and his bass player, that helped a lot. But long story short on that one, all of a sudden somebody, the powers to be at Epic, and not Mr. Lumbaugh, decided they wanted me to do an R&B album, which I was excited about. But they wanted me to have someone else to produce it.
But the album was done.
Oh, it was already done.
It was done, and it was what they wanted. And then they just changed their mind.
Gave them exactly what they wanted, and they decided they didn't like it, and they wanted me to take advantage of my R&B work, which I was a better soul singer. And they wanted another person to produce it. I'm not going to mention his name. It's in the book if you want to see it. But they wanted to replace Mike without any reasoning other than they just wanted me to go to this other guy.
And you guys had gotten kind of close.
Very close. And I said, here's what I'll do. Let's let Mike produce 2 R&B songs. If you don't like him, then I'll go with the other guy. But if you do like him, then we'll stick with Mike. And they said, no, there's no, I think the term was used, Turley, this is a deal breaker, not a point breaker. So I told him to basically, in sweet words, stuff it. And I walked away. Shouldn't have. Again, typical Turley. I walk away when I'm pissed off about something. But I really get, be cool, girl. But I really,
not afraid of you.
I really, when it comes to loyalty, I'm a very loyal person. So Mike told me later I should have never done it. I should have just moved on to the other person. That's show business. Long story short, they eventually sent me a check, with not labeled any certain way, but it's quite a good amount of money that helped me do other things, getting myself ready. So I finished out that part of my life. And then I met a couple very nice people here in Louisville, Kentucky, Gil Wittenberg and his wife, Jo, wonderful people. And they sat down and talked to me about putting together a production house to produce all the talent within the area. First they said in the Louisville area, and I made them move it out to regional. And I produced a few things, and a group called Sundown Red. I got them a deal with 20th Century. A group called South Shore. I got them a deal with Virgin. And the story in there will get you. Both stories end up in a really bad thing. Maybe I'm bad luck. I don't know.
But you met me through South Shore.
I did. I met her through her brother was I mentioned this earlier.
Yeah.
Her brother was their road manager and manager, and they wanted me to produce them. So I did that, and there's a crazy story at the end of that one. A crazy story at the end of.
They were crazy guys.
I produced Mickey Clark, and tried to get him something country wise. I wasn't seeming like something was going to happen when the Whittenbergs said, "Would you produce yourself?" And I said, "Well, that's like a lawyer being his own lawyer." They said, "But who's better than you that could do it?" I said, "I'll give it a shot, but it's a lot more money than these $5,000 demos I've been doing." So, we agreed on $30,000 and fit 20 more if I needed it. So I actually went to the process, and I did it my way. I went into the studio with metronome, which is called a click track today. I put down 2 of my acoustic guitar tracks. I did my lead vocal on all the backgrounds, and then I headed to Nashville and dumped it onto their machine. And then I brought in some great players out of Nashville, some of the best players in Nashville's history. Reggie Young on guitar, David Briggs on keyboard, Shane Keister on keyboard. Just a hell of a showcase of great players. And we did a great album. It was called Therfu. Did we tell what that meant in the book?
We did.
Well, you can wait for the book to find out what Therfu means. What was you going to say?
Well, I turned my timer off, so I don't know how long we've been talking.
Oh boy.
But there's a lot to tell about that particular album, so I kind of wanted to mention something else that we did since we were last doing some of these podcasts, and that was that we started uploading some of your tracks to SoundCloud. So people can go there and hear some of the different tracks also. Yeah,
I've got on there right now on SoundCloud, I have You Might Need Somebody, which was my hit in 1980. I've got Baby Please Don't Go, which was also on that same album, Therfu album, great song. I put a demo that I had done on a song called American Dream, which I have it on another album in a different arrangement. But the original arrangement, I found it a couple of weeks ago.
And I just went, oh my gosh.
It's killer. It really is. I don't know why in the hell I didn't pursue a record deal with that song, because it was really great. Well, Joe Walsh loved it. When he and I were going to produce, Elektra Records was going to put money out to let Joe and I do a co-production on me, and something happened personal on Joe, and he had to back out for a while. So, but that song is a killer too, and we're going to be adding more as we go. So I think that pretty much says it. The record, the Therfu album, there's a great story on there. I signed a deal with Mick Fleetwood to be my manager.
We'll talk more about that
and I'll talk about that on the next thing as my floor director. Just, by the way, if she says turn to the left, I'm in a chair that's rocking back and forth. And since I'm blind, I have to allow her to go ahead and say, turn, something like that. But at least she does it sweeter.
Thank you.
There you go. So I guess that's it.
Where can I go to get the book?
Oh, yeah. God, you know where to go. No, go to www.turleyrichards.com. All the info you would ever need on me is in there. It's my webmaster, David Knuckles, did a phenomenal job. You can see on there, if you're looking for a website, it's, what's it called? Something Kid.
Glory Kid.
Glory Kid. If you see that, you can check with David about maybe doing a website for you.
He's also uploading these podcasts for us. He does a lot of really great work for you, just because for some reason he likes you.
Yeah, I don't understand that part of it. But he always calls me Turley man when he answers the phone. It's Turley man. When he hangs up, no worries. And I never have figured out that part yet. But anyway, I've been pecked on the leg, unless you're getting amorous. Anyway, gotta run. We'll see you later. Come on down.
That one was